Have there ever been real plans to bring peace to Palestine, not just speeches and slogans?
I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace.
And why has every solution ended in crisis or more war? And is the dream of peace something real or always just a diplomatic illusion? These are the questions we're answering in today's video. For more than 100 years, the land of Palestine has been the center of some of the most controversial peace efforts the modern world has ever seen. From British commissions to United Nations resolutions, from two-state dreams to Arab-led peace efforts, history is full of bold ideas that never quite made peace a reality. But how did these plans come about, and why did they fail? Let's begin early. The first major attempt to settle the conflict came under British rule. In the 1930s, as Jewish immigration to Palestine grew and tensions exploded into violence, the British government appointed the Peel Commission in 1937. It shocked the world by proposing the partition of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, a revolutionary idea at the time. But the plan was rejected by both sides and quietly shelved. Fast forward 10 years to the end of World War II, the newly formed United Nations produced the UN Partition Plan of 1947, again recommending two states, one Jewish, one Arab, with an international zone around Jerusalem. The Jewish leaders accepted it, Arab leaders rejected it, leading swiftly to war and the 1948 Nakba. These early plans show the pattern that would define peace efforts for decades. Big international ideas, fierce local rejection. After 1948 and the establishment of Israel, the Middle East remained trapped in cycles of conflict. The 1967 Six-Day War resulted in Israel occupying the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, territories at the heart of the Palestinian national claim.
Israeli Prime Minister Levi Eshkol must be the proudest man in the world, especially when he entered into the Jordanian sector of Jerusalem and to stand before the Wailing Wall.
In response, the UN Security Council Resolution 242 called for a land for peace solution with Israeli withdrawal from occupied territories and mutual recognition. This became the basis for later peace proposals, though it was interpreted differently by all sides. In the 1970s and 1980s, broader regional ideas were floated. US President Ronald Reagan's 1982 peace plan offered a transitional autonomy for Palestinians tied to Jordan, a concept that went nowhere. In 1981, Saudi Arabia's Fahd peace plan, endorsed by the Arab League, called for full Israeli withdrawal from territories captured in 1967, a Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital, and a right of return or compensation for refugees. Israel rejected this too, and the proposal faded into diplomatic history. By the late 20th century, the two-state solution became the dominant formula for peace. Two sovereign states, side by side, Israel and Palestine, each with recognized borders. The idea had roots in the 1937 Peel proposals and was seriously adopted internationally after the 1947 UN plan. But it wasn't until the 1990s that Israel and the Palestinian leadership actually sat down in the Oslo Accords. Signed in 1993, these historic agreements were meant to move beyond theory into reality. The Palestine Liberation Organization recognized Israel, and Israel recognized the PLO. They set up the Palestinian Authority to govern parts of the West Bank and Gaza, with talks planned on permanent status. For a brief moment, it looked like peace could be more than just a dream, but the process stopped. Extremist violence flared on both sides, and the assassination of Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin in 1995 devastated reform momentum. In 2002, the Arab League presented the Arab Peace Initiative, a sweeping plan endorsed by all Arab states. It offered full diplomatic recognition of Israel in return for Israel withdrawing from all territories occupied since 1967, accepting a just solution for refugees and recognizing an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. That proposal was historic for its scale, but Israel did not take it up as a basis for negotiations. That same year, the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1397, explicitly endorsing a two-state vision for the first time. In 2005, leaders of Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority met at Sharm el-Sheikh and reaffirmed roadmaps for peace. This summit helped dampen the Second Intifada, but didn't lead to a political settlement or lasting statehood. Subsequent negotiations, including the Camp David Summit in 2000 and the Annapolis Conference in 2007, failed to bridge core gaps over borders, Jerusalem, refugees, and security. The official idea of two states remains the backbone of international peace efforts. In 2025, the United Nations General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to back a renewed two-state solution and urge Israel to commit to Palestinian statehood.
I want to thank the overwhelming majority of nations that voted for the endorsement of this declaration and the yearning of almost everyone, the international community, to open the door for the option of peace.
Also in 2025, major Western nations, including the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Portugal, formally recognized the state of Palestine. Leaders said this was meant to revive hope for peace and support a two-state framework, even as Israel strongly opposed the move. These diplomatic shifts show that peace plans are not dead. They have simply never overcome the deeper political and societal divide on the ground. Despite decades of proposals, agreements, and resolutions, peace has remained elusive. The reasons are many, such as lack of trust between parties, unequal power dynamics at the negotiating table, fundamental disagreements over territory, refugees, and the status of Jerusalem, violence and extremism, which derail diplomacy, shifts in international politics that prioritize other interests over peace. Some critics now argue that peace planning has become a magic pill, a comforting narrative that hides the realities of occupation, asymmetric power, and human suffering on both sides. History shows that plans alone are not enough. Peace is not just an idea drawn on paper, it must be rooted in real political will, shared security, justice for displaced peoples, and mutual recognition of rights. For some, the two-state solution still represents the best hope, a Palestinian state alongside Israel, based on international consensus and decades of diplomacy. For others, peace must start with grassroots reconciliation, economic cooperation, and ending military occupation. But one thing is clear. The history of peace in Palestine is more than a list of rejected proposals. It is a story of hope and heartbreak that continues to shape the future of millions.